verse 22. The wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, beginning in verse 22, is where we want to begin today as we prepare to go back to the book of Mashaly, the book of Proverbs. Something about wisdom. Because wisdom, and I do not have it to share on the screen, family. I do not have it to share on the screen, so I'm reading from a printed text. I actually didn't look up an online text of it, but perhaps you can quickly look it up. But I'm going to be reading, so you might be wondering why it's not on the screen. That's because I'm reading from a printed text. Because wisdom, who gave shape to everything that exists, was my teacher. Oh, by the way, you know what? No, let me back up just a little bit. Verse 21. I learned things that were roots. I learned things that were well known and things that had never been known before. You know what? Let me back up just a little bit more. Back up just a little bit more. I pray to Yahuah that my thoughts, verse 15, I pray to Yahuah that my thoughts may be worthy of what I have learned, and that I may speak according to his will. He is wisdom's guide. He gives correction to those who are wise. We are under his power and authority. We ourselves, our words, all our understanding and skills. It is he who gave me true knowledge of the forces of nature, what the world is made of, how the elements behave, how the calendar is determined by the movements of the sun, the changing seasons, the constellations, and the cycles of years. He has taught me about the nature of living creatures and behavior of wild animals, the force of the different kinds of plants. The force of the winds, the reasoning powers of human beings, the different kinds of plants, and the use of their roots as medicine. I learned things that were well known and things that had never been known before, because wisdom, who gave shape to everything that exists, was my teacher. The spirit of wisdom, this is the nature of wisdom now. The spirit of wisdom is intelligent and kadash, set apart. It is the one nature, but reveals itself in many ways. It is not made of any material substance, and it moves about freely. It is clear, clean, and confident. It cannot be harmed. It loves what is good. It is sharp and unconquerable, kind and a friend of humanity. It is dependable and sure and has no worries. It has power over everything and sees everything. It penetrates every spirit that is intelligent and pure, no matter how delicate its substance may be. Wisdom moves more easily than motion itself. She is so pure that she penetrates everything. She is a breath, or she is the breath of Elohim's power, a pure and radiant stream of esteem from the Almighty. Nothing that is defiled can ever steal its way into wisdom. She is a reflection of everlasting goodness. Even though wisdom acts alone, she can do anything. She makes everything new, although she herself never changes. From generation to generation, she enters the souls of set-apart people and makes them friends of Yahuah and prophets. There is nothing that Elohim loves more than people who are at home with wisdom. Wisdom is more beautiful than the sun and all the constellations. She is better than light itself, because night always follows day. But evil never overcomes wisdom. Her great power reaches into every part of the world, and she sets everything in useful order. Wisdom has been my love. I courted her when I was young and wanted to make her my bride. I fell in love with her beauty. She esteems her noble origin by living with Elohim, the Yahuah of all who loves her. She is familiar with Elohim's mysteries and helps determine his course of action. Is it good to have riches in this life? Nothing can make you richer than wisdom, who makes everything function. Is knowledge a useful thing to have? Nothing is better than wisdom, who has given shape to everything that exists. Do you love justice? All the virtues are the result of wisdom's work. Justice and courage, self-control and understanding. Life can offer us nothing more valuable than these. Do you want to have wide experience? Wisdom knows the lessons of history and can anticipate the future. She knows how to interpret what people say and how to solve problems. She shows the miracles, the workings that Elohim will perform, and how the movements of history will develop. So I decided to make wisdom home to live with me, to take wisdom home to live with me, because I knew that she would give me good advice and encourage me in times of trouble and grief. I thought to myself, because of her, I will be honored wherever people come together. The old men will respect me even though I am young. They will find that my opinions show deep insight, and those in power will admire me when I am silent. They will wait for me to speak, and when I speak, they will pay attention. Even when I speak at length, they will listen with concentration. Wisdom, I will gain immortality. I will live forever in the memory of those who come after me. I will hold power over nations and peoples. Dreaded tyrants will be seized with fear at the mention of my name. I will be famous as a good king and as a brave soldier. When I come home to wisdom, I will find contentment, because there is no conflict or pain in living with her, only happiness and joy. I am reading from the book, The Wisdom of Shalama, The Wisdom of Solomon, and I began reading in chapter 7 and verse 15, and I read through chapter 8, verse, what verse did I stop? Verse 15, I think I stopped. Verse 15. You're welcome, Dakud. That was the Wisdom of Shalama, chapter 7, verses 15 to chapter 8, verse 15. Okay? All right, so that's a little note about wisdom. Wisdom. Wisdom is our greatest friend. What is wisdom? Wisdom is the breath of Yahuah. Wisdom is the breath of Yahuah. Yahuah breathes wisdom. He breathes wisdom. He is wisdom. He breathes wisdom. When we walk in wisdom, we walk in the will of Yahuah. We walk in the knowing of Yahuah. We walk in the knowledge of Yahuah when we walk in wisdom. Wisdom preserves our step. Wisdom preserves our life. Wisdom ensures that we make the right decisions. Wisdom brings shalom. Wisdom brings life. Folly, foolishness brings death. Foolishness cuts our life short. Shalama said that he took wisdom home and he made wisdom his asha. I love that picture. He took wisdom home and he made wisdom his asha. He took wisdom home. He made room for wisdom. He made room for wisdom. You know, there is a text in the book of Malachim that I probably went over it here in the room some time ago. But I love that text. It's in the book of Malachim. It's in the book of Kings. It's the story of the Shunammite woman. And what happened was this Shunammite woman, which was a woman of Yasharal, living in Shunam, this woman, she had a son. And as a matter of fact, she didn't have a son yet. She didn't have a son yet. But the prophet Yahuah, she noticed that the prophet would pass by her house often as he was going about the business of Yahuah, to carry Yahuah's word to the people of Yasharal in different parts of the continent. And so she would observe that the prophet of Yahuah, Yahuah, that he would come by often. And so what she decided to do was she decided to build a room onto her house. She decided to make a room just for the prophet. And she furnished that room. I find also the furnishings that she placed in the room, I find the furnishings to be interesting. She placed a table in the room. It reminds me of Tehillim chapter 23, where it says, he prepares a table before me. You see, the table represents provision. It represents a feast. And so she prepared a table for the servant of Yahuah. She made provision for the servant. She built the room. She created a place of shelter for the servant. She created a dwelling place for the servant. And if you entertain the servant of Yahuah, if you entertain the prophet of Yahuah, if you entertain the people of Yahuah, then guess what? You entertain the presence of Yahuah. If you fight against the people of Yahuah, you fight against the presence of Yahuah. If you fight against the prophet of Yahuah, you fight against the presence of Yahuah. Because to fight against the elect of Yahuah is to fight against Yahuah himself, as we saw in the book of Tehillim, chapter 83. And so this woman built this room onto her house. She made room for the presence of Yahuah. In that room, she placed a table. She made provision for Yahuah. Not only did she put a table in that room, but the scripture says that she also put a bed in that room. She made place for a resting place for Yahuah. Because to make a resting place for the servant is to make a resting place for the servant of Yahuah, because where his servant is, there Yahuah is also. So she made room, she made provision, and she made a resting place. Scripture said that she also put a light in the room. She made room for the Ruach. Which, to make room for the Ruach, is to make room for Yahuah himself. So she wasn't just inviting the servant of Yahuah. She was inviting Yahuah to come into her home. That's what Shalomah did here. Shalomah said that he took wisdom home. He made room for wisdom. He made room for the presence of Yahuah. Hallelujah. He made room for the presence of Yahuah. So did this woman of Shunam. This woman of Yasharal living in Shunam. So one day the prophet came to her and he called her. He sent his servant, his helper, and he called her. And when she came, he said to her, this year, this time, about this year, next year, this time, you're going to give birth to a son. You're going to give birth to a son. She said, listen, I built this room. I prepared a place for the presence, but I didn't expect anything in return. Listen, do not come Making me no false promises, basically, is what she said. Just enjoy the place that I've prepared for you. I didn't ask for anything in return. The prophet said that, no, I didn't see your kindness as a bribe. And I'm not just talking because you have done something kind on my behalf, but this is what Yahuah has commanded me to say to you, that because you have made room for me, then by next year this time, you're going to give birth to a son. She had no children. And I guess it had gotten to a point where she had tried so much and nothing was happening, that she had just kind of like settled with the fact that, you know what, it's not going to happen. A servant of Yahuah called her and said that by next year this time, you're going to give birth to a son. And she said, I didn't ask for anything. Don't come bothering me with this. Don't lie to me now. I didn't ask for a favor. I just made room and I asked for nothing in return. Yahuah saw that what she did was out of a genuine desire to serve the servant of Yahuah and to serve Yahuah. Yahuah said, by next year this time you will have a son. Well, come next year, the following year, she had a son. But there came a day, some years later, that the son was out in the field with his father, working in the field. And the son became ill. The father sent the son home, and by the time he got home, the son was dead. And she was highly troubled. And by this time, she felt as if, listen, I didn't ask for this, so I don't even know why Yahuah would give me a son only to create heartbreak in my life. How many times, perhaps, we have experienced a baraka only to find that the baraka now becomes something of hurt, something of pain, and we think to ourselves, I didn't ask for this. Why did you give it to me? Only for it to later come back to be a thing of hurt and pain in my life. She said, I didn't ask for this. All I did was make room for the presence. I didn't want anything in return. Now you insist on giving me something in return. You gave me a son, but here it is a few years later. Now he is no more. I would have done better not having him. What she did was she sent for the servant of Yahuah. She sent her servant to find the servant of Yahuah, to find the man of Yahuah. And the man of Yahuah came into that place, that space, that room that she had made for the presence of Yahuah. He came into that place. You see, because she had already made room for the presence, then there was place for Yahuah to work, because she had made room for the presence, expecting nothing in return. And so when the servant of Yahuah came, before the servant of Yahuah came, you know what she did? She took her son who was now laying dead. She took him and she laid him on the bed, the resting place of Yahuah. She laid him on the bed. And then she sent and called for the servant of Yahuah. And when the servant of Yahuah arrived, all he had to do was go into the place, the space that was made for the presence of Yahuah. And if the servant goes in, guess what? The presence of Yahuah is going in with him. The prophet Al-Yahu went in and he laid on this boy, cried out to Yahuah, closed the door behind him, laid on him. A strange way. A strange thing, it would seem. He cried out to Yahuah. Yahuah told him to lay on him. Laid on him. And life began to come back into the child. And the gift that was given, that then seemed to have become dead, came back to life. And her joy was restored to her. Now, You know what happened there for this woman? Simply because she made room for the presence of Yahuah. Because she made room for the presence of Yahuah, she got a gift that she would have never gotten had she not made room for the presence of Yahuah. She got a child. And the child who it would seem to her that she almost lost, Yahuah then did a great work in bringing the gift back to life. So now she not just got the gift of a child, but now she got to experience the power of Yahuah, all because she made room for the presence of Yahuah. And it's the same thing with Shalomah, because when he said, I'm going to take wisdom home, what he did was he had to make room for wisdom. He made room for the presence of Yahuah. And when we make room for the presence of Yahuah, then we have made preparation to receive the gifts of Yahuah. And when we receive the gifts of Yahuah, Yahuah will have it so that we experience the power of Yahuah. And Shalomah certainly experienced the power of Yahuah. Now the challenge is this. After we have made room for the presence of Yahuah, the challenge is to continue to walk in wisdom so that we do not alienate ourselves from the presence of Yahuah. So that's why we have got to continue to seek out Yahuah, seek out wisdom through his word. And that's what we're here doing as we go through the books of Mashaly, Sirach, and even as we just read from the book, The Wisdom of Shalomah. So family, go with me as we prepare to go back to Proverbs, Mashaly, chapter 6. It is my hope, it is my prayer that Yahuah's word today will just bring you joy and empowerment and strength and encouragement, and let the word of Yahuah be all that we need, be everything that we need. Yahuah know where each and every one of us is today. It is my prayer, it is my cry that his word would comfort, heal, restore, replenish, strengthen everything that needs to be done. So let it be through his word. Allahu Yahuah. I want to share my screen, family. Let his word correct. Let it keep us on a straight path. Allahu Yah. Now, book of Mashaly, Proverbs chapter 6. So far, we have covered chapter 1 through chapter 5. This Shabbat, we're picking up here in chapter 6. Advice to the Akim. Advice to the men of Yasharal about women and how we ought to relate to our sisters, and being mindful of a harlot. And let me say, as I talk about a harlot, it's not just women that are harlot. You have people out there, you have men out there, men of Yasharal, who teach as if only women can be guilty of whoring. Some of the greatest whores of Yasharal were men, and still is. So let us, yes, go ahead, Akeem.
You have some on the because here we can't hear.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to that. Okay, I'll put it up. Let me see. Why can't I see? It's interesting. All right, let me stop sharing and start it again. Okay. Yes, good Carmen. I hear that. It's the world we're in is what I have to deal with when I go to work on a daily basis, and that's what grieved me about having to be out there in the midst of it. But it's part of the harsh reality of what we face. Um, now, so can you see it now? Can you see it now on Fuse family? No? Hmm. You know, my Fuse, it's telling me that it's being shared, but okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I am going to I'm gonna go out of Fuse and I'm gonna come back. Okay, so bear with me. I'm gonna YouTube will still be live. I'm gonna go out of Fuse and I'm gonna come right back. All right, because it's not responding properly. Bear with me just for a second.
This conference is being recorded.
Okay. Uh-oh, what happened? Uh-oh.
The audio conference will now begin.
All right, I'm sorry about that. It seemed as if when I went out, it put everybody out, and I didn't exit for it to put everybody out. I want to apologize for that, Mashbaka. Hopefully everybody can get back in. Yeah, the way I exited should not have put everybody out the room, but it did. Fuse is just acting up. Again, I want to apologize. I want to apologize for that. The way that I exited it shouldn't have knocked everybody out, but it did. Let's see. I'm gonna see if it works now. Let me know, family, if you can on Fuse, if you can see. Okay, great, great. All right. Okay, I'm gonna wait for everybody to get back in. Try to see if everyone can get back in. Let me just check. Okay, everybody is not back yet. Hopefully everyone can get back in though. Again, I want to apologize, Mashbaka. When I exited in a way that it should have only affected me, but it obviously affected the whole room. I want to apologize for that. Just a glitch with Fuse there. It's working now, but we don't have everybody back. And hopefully everyone can get back. Okay. All right. All right, let's just see. I want to just make sure. See who we have. Yeah, we don't have everybody back. Akut, welcome back, Akut Amuna. I'm trying to wait for everybody to get back. They might be having a difficult time getting back in. All right, it's acting up again. It's not sharing what I wanted to share. Oh boy. All right, let me try. I might have to do an update And just let me know if you can see the screen again, family. Fuse is acting up. Okay, great, great. All right. Once again, my apologies, family. My apologies. All right. Mashaly chapter 6. Mashaly chapter 6. My son, if you have become guarantor for your friend, have shaken hands in pledge for a stranger, have been sneered by the words of your own mouth, have been caught by the words of your mouth, do this at once, my son, and deliver yourself, for you have come into the hand of your friend. Go humble yourself and urge your friend. Okay, what is this talking about? Here is wisdom. You know, somebody said it earlier. Somebody said it earlier. I don't remember exactly who said it, but somebody said it earlier. Oh, it was Aki, my Aki from Miami. And Aki, forgive me, I forgot your name. You'll have to remind me. That's my Jamaican. I didn't hear you, babe. Oh, I don't remember, but please remind me. And my apologies. But my Jamaican brother from Miami, he said it, and that is that Yahuah's word is such, Yahuah's instruction is such, Yahuah's Torah is such that everything that we need to know is found in it. Go ahead, Aki. Okay, I thought I heard someone. Everything that we need, every instruction that we need is found in Torah, you see. And so Torah is our constitution. Torah is our constitution. It is our book of instruction concerning everything that affects us as individuals and as a nation. And so Yahuah is giving us instruction concerning debt here. And what he is saying to us is, you do not co-sign on a debt for anybody, unless, of course, you're willing to pay the price fully yourself. It is foolish, and I've learned this the hard way, but it is a foolish thing. I don't care who it is, family. I did it for family, and it messed me up. It messed not just me up, but of course, if it messed me up, it's going to mess my family up. Okay? But I co-signed on a debt for my family. Microphone is open somewhere there, family. If you could just check your mics for me. Let me see. There's one. There's another mic open somewhere. Just double check your mics for me. Okay? But what Yahuah is telling us is that we should not become surety. We should not become collateral for somebody else's debt. Okay, so what he says is, my son, if you have become guarantor for your friend, have shaken hands in a pledge for a stranger, you have become, like I said, you have become a guarantor for a friend or for a stranger. Yahuah says, don't do it unless you are willing to bear the full responsibility of that debt. Okay? And it doesn't matter what debt it is. If you're going to speak up on somebody's behalf, if you're going to speak concerning somebody's, what's the word I'm looking for? Personality, or concerning their virtue, if you're going to speak on somebody's behalf, then you better make sure that you know that what you're saying is so. If you're going to become a what they call it, a co-signer on a loan, on a debt for somebody, then you better know that if they cannot pay, then you are able to pay off that debt. You see, because to become a co-signer, to become a guarantor, is to say that should they be unwilling to pay, then I am willing to pay the debt. And if I'm not repaid, then so be it. So in order to do that, you've got to be willing to bear the full brunt, to pay the full price. You've got to be willing to go the distance. What Yahuah is telling us is that if we're not willing to go that far, then we should not do it at all. If we cannot afford to go that far, then we should not be doing it. I got into a situation where a corrupt banking system allowed for a debt to be approved and me being co-signer on that debt. And in the end, my family member could not pay the debt, and neither could I pay the debt. And it became something of a great burden to me and my family. Held us back in many ways, but praise Yahuah, as it stands today, I am delivered from that debt, and I give Yahuah praise for second chances. I give Yahuah praise for his favor and for his compassion. Because, you know, at the time when I went into it, I knew these scriptures and I knew better. But I said, well, it's family and I got to do it. But that's not what the scriptures tells us. If you're going to become surety for somebody, if you're going to become a guarantor for somebody, then you've got to be fully aware of what you're getting into and being willing to take on the full brunt of it, but not just being willing to take it on, but being able to pay off the debt. Because the scriptures also tells us, as we will see here in the book of Mashaly, that it is the wicked that borrows and does not repay. It is the wicked that borrows and does not repay. So you can't go into it if you're trying to help out a family member and say, well, you know what? I ain't going to be able to pay for it if they can't pay for it. But guess what? I'm doing this to help them out. They family. So I know I can't pay for it. I know they can't pay for it, but I'm going to do it anyway. We'll just stick it to the bank. No, you can't do that. Not according to the word of Yahuah. It says the wicked borrows and does not repay. It is the wicked that borrow and does not repay. We can't become like the wicked. The wicked, Donald Trump, he borrowed a whole lot of money. He don't repay. What he do? He just filed bankruptcy. Filed 6 bankruptcies already. It is the wicked that borrow and does not repay. No, we can't do that. You see. There's the wicked that borrows and does not repay. We can't do that. Now, my son, if you have become guarantor for your friend, have shaken hands in a pledge for a stranger, have been sneered by the words of your own mouth, have been caught by the words of your mouth, and if you have been caught by the words of your mouth, if you have said something that wasn't right, when you realize that what you say wasn't right, you've got to make it right. You say, hurry. Do this at once, my son, and deliver yourself, for you have come into the hand of your friend. Go humble yourself and urge your friend. Get out of that situation as quick as possible. Do not pretend as if you didn't say it. Do not pretend as if you didn't do it. No. Face up to the fact that you made a mistake and say, listen, you know what? I shouldn't have done what I've done. We need to break this contract. We need to get out of it now before it's too late. I erred. I made a mistake. He says, give no sleep to your eyelids, nor slumber to your eyelids. Give no sleep to your eyes, nor slumber to your eyelids. Waste no time. Deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hunter's hand, and like a bird from the hand of the trapper. You see, another thing, family, debt is a trap. Debt is a trap. Any kind of debt is a trap. You see, if you have said something wrong about somebody, you have put yourself in debt. If if you have co-signed on a debt, a financial debt, you have put yourself in debt. You have put yourself in a trap. If you speak wrongly of someone, you have put yourself in a trap. You must correct it. Deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hunter's hand, and like a bird from the hand of the trapper. Go to the ant, you lazy one. See her ways and be wise. Now, I want to talk about our people here for a minute. You see, I am someone who spend a lot of time on social media talking about the wickedness that is done to our people. Yes, I do, and I can't help but to do it, and I have no problem with doing it. Yep, because too few people dare to stand up and speak, and I can't help but to do it. I just hate to see injustice, and therefore I've got to speak. You see, it's just me. It's just the way I am. It's just the way I've been. You see, when I see somebody oppressed, it's just in me to take the side of the oppressed. That's just the way I am. You see. So you might see me on social media talking a whole lot about what they do to us. From time to time, I also talk about what we do to ourselves or what we fail to do. And maybe I don't talk about that enough. So I want to take this opportunity to talk to us about us. Okay? Go to the ant, you lazy one. See her ways and be wise. Now, on social media a lot, you might see me post things with the hashtag Black Lives Matter. Let me start there. And I want to make something clear, that when I continue to say time and time again, over and over again, Black Lives Matter, I want our people to understand, and I want everybody to understand, that I'm not just saying that for the police, the murderers, and racist police to hear. I'm not saying that for the racist white person or any other racist person. I'm not just saying it for them to hear and to understand and to know that Black Lives Matter. But I'm saying it because also our people need to understand that Black Lives Matter. Because our people do not understand that Black Lives Matter. Because if our people understood that Black Lives Matter, then you wouldn't turn the news on every day of the week and see where you have one black man gunning down another black man. Just this past week in our city, my wife made mention of it earlier, but in just 2 days or 3 days, in just 3 days, 4 people shot, 2 young women, and 3 of them died. 2 young women, 8:30 at night, shot in the face. 1 young man, 2:30 in the afternoon, shot dead. Another incident, pretty early in the day, shot dead. That's just in the city where I live. Turn the news on in Philadelphia, day after day, night after night, our people killing our people. Obviously, our people don't realize that Black Lives Matter. So when I say Black Lives Matter, it's not just to the cops. It's not just to racist white people. And I'm not saying all white people are racist, but some are. And I even work with some that are racist. And I've encountered some that are racist. And I've encountered police that are racist. I don't have to ask anybody if the police is wicked and if the system is unjust, because I've experienced it. I don't have to ask. I don't have to second guess that. So there is no question in my mind that it is unjust and that it is racist and that you have racist people in America, a whole lot more than there should be. But the other side of the coin is this also, that black people have some stuff with them. Our people. And I say black people, somebody might argue with me saying black is the color of crayon. Listen, I know all that. Right now, I'm not into the semantics or whatever we call it. Or semantics, whatever. When I say black people, everybody know what I'm talking about. But we have some stuff with ourselves also. So when it comes to realizing that Black Lives Matter, black people need to understand that also. Now we know that there is dysfunction, and we know where the dysfunction started. It started with well, it didn't start with our enslavement. It started before our enslavement. It's what led to our enslavement. But there is great dysfunction among our people, and great seeds of distrust have been sown among our people. And we are quicker to do evil to ourselves than we are to anybody else, even to the one oppressing us. We can jump up Billy Bob and fight the one that look like us, but the one that's striking us, the one that's beating us, the one that's raping us, the one that's doing all kinds of evil against us, we dare not get up and say a word against that one. We won't do it. It's like having two siblings in a house, and they will be quick to fight one another. But if somebody out there jump on their brother, he's not going to jump to fight the one that attack his brother as quick as he would jump to fight his own brother in the house. Yes, indeed. So we know where some of this dysfunction come from. But you see, there comes a point when we've got to take personal responsibility. And we've got to wake up and we've got to rise up and say, you know what? We're not going to continue to exist like this among ourselves anymore. Before anybody is going to respect us, we've got to respect ourselves. And respect is not something that is given. Respect is something that is earned. So as we look at the ants here, I want to begin with Black Lives Matter. Black people need to realize that our lives matter. We need to stop gunning down one another. We need to stop robbing one another, stealing from one another. We need to stop leeching off of one another. But instead, we need to begin to work together and help one another. So it starts there. We need to understand. We need to understand. We need to be taught. We need to learn that Black Lives Matter. So when I post Black Lives Matter on social media, I'm not only talking to the cop. I'm not just talking to racist white people. I'm talking to black people who don't realize that Black Lives Matter. So I start with Black Lives Matter. Now I'm going to go to our laziness. Yep, I'm going to go to our laziness. You know, I've encountered many people over the years. I've been in positions. Yahuah have given me the ability to learn quickly. And I've always started out at the bottom of the ladder. But because of the favor of Yahuah and the ability that he has given me to learn and the willingness to work hard, I've always been able to move up the ladder. Now, in order to move up, I've always had to work 2 times harder than those who are lighter than my complexion. But because I'm committed to only doing right and well, then doing so hasn't been a great struggle for me. I just do it. It's my job. When I do it, I think about my family. I think about Yahuah. I want to represent Yahuah well. I want to represent my family well. I want to represent my people well. And so in every place that I've been, in every place that I've worked, I started working with 7-Eleven Corporation. And when I started working with 7-Eleven, I started when the minimum wage was $5.05 an hour in New Jersey. And I worked with 7-Eleven, not being paid overtime or nothing. I mean, it was ridiculous. And I worked with 7-Eleven for 12 years. I started out as a clerk And then by the time I left there, still being underpaid, I would work 90 hours a week. But when I left 7-Eleven after 12 years, I was a manager at 7-Eleven, hiring people, unfortunately firing people where I had to. But my point is that when I started out just as a clerk, sweeping the parking lot, cleaning up, packing the freezer, stuff like that. And because of the favor of Yahuah, even when I didn't know Yahuah, I moved my way up to management, still being underpaid nonetheless, but I moved my way up to management. Left 7-Eleven, went to another job, and I worked my way up to a line supervisor. The favor of Yahuah and a drive, a passion to represent our people well and to take care of my family. Move up to line supervisor. Left there, went to another job, became before I went to this other job, I was getting ready to say, went to another job where I started out, and this job, they didn't mind giving me raises, though not as much as they gave to the white person. They would give me raises, but they in my work. They would never give me a promotion in my work. There were some racist people. I walked into the office one day to hear one of the bosses talking with one of the employees and referring to a black person as a nigger. And I stayed with them, and all I wanted to do was to be of benefit to the company, because I don't believe in taking people's money for nothing. I believe in working. Oh, am I back? Is YouTube working, family? Is YouTube working? Okay, to the. Okay. Okay, but I don't believe in working for anything. I don't believe in taking people's money for nothing. I believe in working hard for whatever I get. Okay, and so while I was working for this company, all I wanted to do was to be an asset to the company. And I kept telling them, they hired me as a helper. And so I would go out and I would help with jobs. And as I was helping with these jobs, I realized that the things that their mechanics were doing and the things that their engineers were doing, I was very much capable of doing. And I offered to them, it's not even about money, it's not about title. I just offered. I saw where they were shorthanded, and I offered. I said, listen, okay, you don't have enough mechanics to cover all the jobs that needs to be done. I can handle it. Just give me the go ahead and I'll get it done. No, we don't pay you to think, they tell me. Yeah, we don't pay you to think. That's white racism. White men tell me, we don't pay you to think. In other words, we just hire you for your muscles. You see, nothing different than being on the sugar plantation. We just hire you for your muscles. We don't pay you to think, they tell me. So what happened is, after a little while, Yahuah presented an opportunity for me to leave with a job that was paying me more, much more. And I gave them notice. I told them that I got an offer and I'll be leaving. Now, when I told them that I'd be leaving, all of a sudden, somehow it seemed as if some value grew upon me overnight. All of a sudden, they want to give me $3 more per hour plus a company truck for me to take home every evening. But by this time, I had already made up my mind, and so I told them, no, that's all right. I'm going to take the opportunity that is presented, and they're telling me all the reasons why I shouldn't take the opportunity, but they've shown me themselves, and so it was time to go. So I left there. I took another job, and in this job, Yahuah showed me favor, not because I have the degrees or anything like that, but because of the favor of Yahuah, my willingness to work hard. I was put in charge of a project where I had nobody over me. My bosses were in California. I'm in Pennsylvania, and I'm running this project. You see, Yahuah showed me great favor, and Yahuah favored me greatly. Yes.
Can I expound on the favor just a little bit, because what's standing out in my mind about this job? The particular job that you were talking about prior to that, which was Rhodes Metal, they basically they make a lot of stuff that, what is it called?
Heating and air conditioning.
Yeah.
And stuff.
So that job that he left, Rhodes Metal, that did a lot of heating and air conditioning, the job that hired him actually would call them for work. Okay, had their company come out and do work for them. So when he hired my husband, he would actually be in charge of either calling Rhodes Metal, who he used to work for, or another company to do work for his new job. So I forget what it's called, where you have to contracts, basically contract them into work for the new job. So really, when you think about the favor, is now I have a job that, I can either consider your business for some work, or I could move on and consider somebody else.
Yeah, the people that were racist against me and told me that they didn't pay me to think were actually calling me on almost a daily basis, a weekly basis, trying to get an offer to present, trying to seek an opportunity to present an offer, quotes for jobs that I was overseeing. So in a way, basically, Yahuah made me their bosses. You see, now, so Yahuah promoted me, and the people who were telling me we don't pay you to think, and the people who saw no value in me, who saw me as somebody who is incapable of accomplishing anything, who is incapable of thinking, who is incapable of learning, those same people now were coming looking for work, looking for contracts from my hands. That's the favor of Yahuah. Okay, so Yahuah gave me great favor because of hard work. This scripture have always stood out to me. Go to the end. No, there's a reason why I'm telling this story, because it's coming back to our people. It's coming back to our people. I started out with 7-Eleven. Okay, and as a matter of fact, so after that company that told me they don't pay me to think, to the company where I was in charge of running the project, and they would even fly me to Texas, to Houston, to oversee a project there. But after all that, coming back, eventually the economy got slow, and they didn't want to lay me off, this company, but they had to, because a lot of contracts just fell through when the economy went down, and they didn't want to, but they had to, and they gave me. I only worked with them for 7 years, and when it was time for them to lay me off, they gave me about $15,000 in severance. But so now, when from there, I got hired. Yeah, from there I got hired with this company where I'm at, and again I started out at the bottom, and because of the favor of Yahuah and hard work, Yahuah moved me to the top of the department in which I work. So now I oversee the department that I work in. at the current job that I'm at. Now, the reason why I'm saying all this is to say I'm talking about our people. Okay, I said that our people don't recognize that Black Lives Matter. Well, this is something that I've seen over the years. I've seen the racism. I've seen how people treat us in workplaces. I've seen personally, and I know that bear with me just for a second. There's a microphone open, family. If you could make sure your mic or your phone lines are muted for me. Okay. Yeah. So I've seen personally the racism. I know personally that when you're black, okay, let me say this real quick, because sometimes Caucasians have a problem when somebody black say this. So let me speak from the Caucasian perspective so that it can be understood better. Many Caucasians have a problem when you state the fact that just based on the color of your skin, you get paid less than a white person. Just because you're black, you're doing the same job as a white person, but it has always been historically in this country that based on the color of your skin, and it's not just in this country, but it's big in this country, but based on the color of your skin, you get paid less just because you're black and the other person is white. Y'all doing the same job, but you get paid less. Okay? Y'all are doing the same job, but you get paid less. I have a son in Maryland, my oldest biological son. His mom was working for a company where she had some college education. Her boss had no college education and was making about 3 times what she was making. Okay? She's black. The person over her is white. Okay? And the only reason why she found out was by accident. Now, so historically, black people, when you're black, you get paid less than a white person, even when y'all are doing the same job. But a lot of white people have a problem accepting that or owning up to it, or some even believing it. So let me put it in a way that Caucasians will understand. They do not have a problem when you say that women get paid less for doing the same job as a man. And that is a fact. It has been a fact. In America, women, if a man and a woman's doing the same job, women get paid less than the man. And guess what? The black woman get paid less than the white woman. The white woman gets paid more than the black woman. But the white man gets paid more than everybody. Okay? Many Caucasians can accept that, can receive that. As a matter of fact, they can so well receive it that it has become an election issue. They can so well receive it that it has become an election issue. Okay? They talk about the gap between women and men. They don't talk about the gap between black and white. You see, you don't hear that. That's not an election issue, but it's very real. I know it. I've experienced it. I've lived it. Okay? And probably still living it. I just don't know who makes. You see. Now, with all that said, talking about laziness in our people, over the years in all these jobs that I've held, remember, I always start off at the bottom, but because of the favor of Yahuah and hard work, Yahuah has always moved me. Even when I didn't know him, he's always moved me to a place of management or a supervisory position. And over the years, I've had the opportunity of trying to make sure that our people, that where I can give them opportunity, that I give them opportunity, not in an unfair way. In other words, I don't overlook white people and say I'm only going to hire black people for this position, you see. But where I have the opportunity to try to help our people, I have tried to help our people. But you know what I've found? When unfortunately, even when many times, like one of the whatever the projects I was in charge of, I would hire people from the temp agencies. And we'd have these guys come in, black guys would come in, and all day long, you know what I'd have to be doing? I'd have to be walking around, running around, looking for them. Okay? They're there, they're getting paid to work. But they just come and they decide, I ain't doing this for $8 an hour. So they're going to collect a check, but they say, I'm not going to do any work. And they spend all day hiding. All day hiding. I see the same thing with my job now. Our people, lazy. Lazy. Okay? We don't like to talk about ourselves. We don't like to talk about our mess, but it's a fact. And until we get ourselves together, ain't nobody going to respect us. So Yahuah said, go to the ant, you lazy one.
We see that in the neighborhoods. We see it by way of when I was growing up in the project. You know, dad be missing, not my dad. Other people's dads be missing all week long. Okay? Come the beginning of the month where the mom get ready to get the welfare checks, them dads be there. They be there, okay? But you can't get them to go get the kids from school. You can't get them. Listen, I got some stories, but I ain't going to drag it out. But that's the men, lazy, don't want to even help raise the kids, but to show up when it's time for mom to get that check.
Mm-hmm.
I see that.
Yes, absolutely, Akut Joan. Like the one who took his talent and buried it in the ground. And that's what many of our men are doing. Yahuah has given you a talent. Listen, simply because you're not being paid your worth, don't mean that you should say, well, you know what, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to bury it. What are you going to be? You're like the wicked servant. You say, well, I know you're a hard taskmaster, expecting to reap where you have not sown. Therefore, what I did was I took it and I buried it. You're a wicked servant. You see? The men, our people, wicked servants. We got to wake up. Go to the ant, you lazy one. See her ways and be wise. You might not be getting what you're worth. You might not be getting paid what you should be getting paid. But you have a role to play. Yahuah have an expectation of us. You see, we've got to do our part and let him bring the deliverance. You see, when I started out at 7-Eleven at $5.05 an hour, when I started out, if I said to myself, like a lot of other people did, because I've seen it, if I said to myself, man, they're only paying me $5.05 an hour, I ain't doing nothing. I'm just going to barely do whatever it is to get by. As a matter of fact, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to find me a little place where I can go to sleep. And when I do go to sleep, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a dustpan and a broom with me. I'm going to hold it in my hand and I'm going to go to sleep. And when I hear somebody coming, I'm going to jump up and I'm going to start sweeping. If I'd done that, then guess what? My reward from Yahuah would be what? That of a wicked servant. You see. But because I did not do that, because even though I know that I was being underpaid and overworked, I still worked. Considering my family, considering what is said about our people. Because the narrative out there about our people is that we're lazy, that we're good for nothing, that we're stupid, that we're this and that we're that. But every job that I go to, I keep that narrative in mind. And what I do is I work to show them that we're not. When I encounter people, when I talk to people, when I communicate with people, I seek to communicate with them. I seek to interact with them to cause them to see that, no, we are not what you say we are. And I don't separate myself from another black person. You see? You know, there are a lot of people. We are so divided. They have so managed to divide us that you have people simply because we are in different places. Okay, so I might be from Jamaica. You were born in America. You were born in the Bahamas or whatever. You were born someplace in Africa. We see ourselves differently. And what one go through in our minds, hey, he from over there. You know, he just came off the boat. I ain't concerned with him. I'm concerned with my my black. You know, there's something else stupid that I hear from our people. And this is from blacks living in America. And from whites living in America, I've heard it. I hear white people in America and I hear black people in America say that people from other countries, melanated people, black people from other places aren't black. I hear black people in America say that. They've said it to me. You're not black. Oh, what am I?
I've said that.
Yeah, my wife have said it to me. But you see, that's the kind of stuff that's the kind of garbage that have been fed to us. You know why that was fed to us? To keep us divided, to keep us looking at each other indifferently, to keep us separated, where we cannot unite and work together and see that we are one people. You see, look at Aki Wandiyahu. What if I should say, well, Aki Wandiyahu not black, he speaks Spanish. He live in Costa Rica. He not black. And then I treat him like he's different. How foolish would that be of me? You see, yes, indeed, Aki. Yahuah was treated unfairly for 14 years by his employer, but he just worked until Yahuah gave him more than what he worked for. Hallelujah. That's absolutely right.
Aki Franklin says, if we were lazy, this country wouldn't be where it's at now. And I agree with that.
Absolutely.
To a degree.
Yeah. You see what has happened? Yeah. What you see, this is what has happened to us as a people. And this is what our people got to snap out of. We're to the point where the only time we'll work is if somebody has a whip over us. And we got to snap out of that, because that's not the way we have always been. And I understand why that come to be. It comes out of frustration. When you've worked free all this time and to see nothing of it, it comes a point when you say, well, what am I working for? But you know what? No, that's falling into their narrative.
It's the lack of a good pride and a
yes.
hard day's work.
You see, the only thing that's going to bring change for us is our willingness to take the plow by the handle. You see, we got to be willing to put the work in. The reality is, family, from what I've seen and experienced, our people are now living up to the narrative of what I've been spewed.
Believing what's been said about us. But the other thing too is something me and you were talking about with this newer generation, and probably the generation which was us, was that, you know, the generation prior to us, they, you know, wanted to see their kids have better than they had. And so therefore now you have these spoiled kids, brats running around here thinking that they just ought to get the newest phone. They just ought to get the most updated games and this and that. Whereas they're not being made to work for that.
Yes.
You know, most times you've been getting kicked out of school all year long. You walk around here like I owe you something on your school bricks. Like I gotta beg you to do something. Now you want the latest this or that. No. Well, years ago, my grandma, she would go to work sometimes with wet clothes and wet sneakers because she used to clean house. Okay. Now she got bad feet as a result of that, because the shoes she wore, they were them little the Vernon Shirley sneakers, okay, in a white looking uniform, and cleaning, scrubbing somebody else's clothes and everything. Now my dad and them come along, she makes sure they got all they need. Now my dad and them come along, they say the same thing. I want to make sure my kids got. No, it's gonna stop with me. They're gonna work hard for it. They're gonna know what it is to get out there and work. Because my 19-year-old son, I took him to work, and he didn't have the decency to even come back home and say, "Mom, I left early." We waited for him to get off of work. We went to the job where he was supposed to get off at 11 o'clock. We waited there till 12 o'clock at night thinking he was somewhere in the building working. And this brother left the job an hour after I took him there. And then I said, well, what happened? He said the manager was looking for Yo. Hey, Yo. I guess he never showed up. I said, excuse me? He said he was looking for Hey, Yo. I said, so you mean tell me? He said, hey, Yo, you. And you said, I'm leaving. You don't know you need a job, son, because I'm not going to take care of you. Okay, so that's part of the problem why these kids don't want to go to work, and especially, and I can't even say this is the truth. It's just fantasizing, because any drug dealer know when they put these young boys on the block, you're only getting like $30 to $40 on a pack. Okay, so you're working for that pack. How long it take you to sell that pack? All right, I'm gonna give it a good hour or two, maybe. So. Y'all do the math, and you know what I'm saying, all right, y'all. Some of y'all know what I'm saying to be true. And you get out there and then taking chances with your life and with the cops. You mean tell me you can't go push this broom where you ain't taking a chance with your life? So a lot of it is these kids being lazy, and a lot of it is our fault. Okay, we just, again, going back to the scriptures, that's talking about us and us getting ourselves together. This is part of the problem.
And that key M. Harrison made is some point, COINTELPRO and all of that stuff. I've had it to our dysfunction, right? So, but the fact of the matter is, our people got to realize that you can't sit around. Yahuah says, go to the ant, lazy one. You see, so we can't give up on ourselves, because nobody is going to hope in us. We got to hope in Yahuah, and we can't give up on ourselves, you see. And so our people, so like my wife said, you can't spoil them. That's part of these young people have become spoiled. And it's not just young people, because in some of these positions I've been in, they're grown men almost 50 years old, acting like a teenager, you see. And so we as a people, we've got to snap out of it. We got to come out of it, you see. Yahuah says, if a man don't work, then that man shouldn't eat. He said that by the sweat of your brow, that's the curse we're under. By the sweat of the brow, you eat bread. If a man don't work, he don't eat. But the problem is, many of our people have become so dependent, and to think that they shouldn't have to work to eat, you see.
Because they allow the house high. That's why. All they got to do is go to the corner store and buy a brand new T-shirt. Some of them buy one pair of boxers and a toothbrush. And that's how they live at night.
So, I've seen it, you see. So we've got to take responsibility for ourselves, okay? We got to realize that there is no value in lazy.
Tell them what
you see.
He's gonna buy.
My son, my wife was in the store with him, and he didn't have a belt on. He's sagging. So I'm talking to him about it, and I told him from this day forward, you're going to be wearing a belt. And as a matter of fact, you got a job, you're going to buy your belt. And you're going to wear your belt. And if you lose it, you're going to buy another one. And you're going to keep buying them if you lose them. Because if you don't care about them, then you're going to lose them. But you're not going to walk around here with your pants sagging. So when he hear that he has to wear a belt and he's going to have to buy a belt, he said, well, if he's going to, he didn't say it in this many words, but basically what he was saying was, well, if he's going to have to wear a belt, he's going to buy a $200 belt.
I live in here,
So I asked him, what kind of nonsense is that? I said, now, you know what? I'm going to help to extend your life a little bit.
Yes.
By denying you that. You see? Because in as foolish as you may be to go and buy a $200 belt, there's somebody just as foolish standing out there waiting to put a gun to your head, blow your head off, and take it off of you. Because that's the way it is where I live. You see? And that's a fact. Now, so Yahuah said, go to the ant. So there is no value in being lazy. And our people must understand this. Okay? Our people, let us do our part and let Yahuah take care of the wicked. You see? But simply because they're not paying us right, simply because they're not treating us right, then we don't become lazy. Who is it going to affect? It's going to affect us and affect our children and affect our nation. You see, we got to pull ourselves together. Okay? Because they ain't doing it for us. And it's going to take hard work. So go to the end, you lazy one, see her ways and be wise, which having no commander, overseer, or ruler, provides her supplies in the summer, gathers her food in the harvest. There is something else here that there's a word that I want to highlight. It's not in the text, but I want to use the word. Procrastinate. We cannot be procrastinators. We can procrastinate. In other words, there is a little parable that says, don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today, or something like that, because tomorrow something. I don't remember the whole thing. But we can't be procrastinators. You see, when you procrastinate, you will have a ton of stuff to do. And whereas if you just get up and start doing it little by little, it will get done. But when you procrastinate and you keep putting off stuff, as a matter of fact, you didn't start out having a ton of stuff to do. But when you procrastinate and you start putting off stuff, before you know it, you have a ton of stuff to do. And before you know it, you feel overwhelmed. And before you know it, nothing gets done. So it's not good to procrastinate. Don't put off today for tomorrow what can be done today. You know you have stuff to do, but you decide, nah, I'm just going to sit here and I'm just going to enjoy the breeze from this fan and I'll get it tomorrow. Guess what? Now tomorrow, the work that you have for tomorrow is going to pile on what you had from yesterday. You done sat on the couch all day long, laid around or whatever, and ain't get nothing done. And before you know it, 1 day's work become 2 days and 3 days. And before you know it, you have a mountain of stuff. And nothing is getting done because you are procrastinating. A lazy person is a procrastinator. You see. So don't procrastinate. Because tomorrow never comes. That's the rest of it. Don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today, because tomorrow never comes. What that means is you'll never get it done. Because come tomorrow, guess what? You're going to say, man, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes.
There's always tomorrow.
You see, there's always tomorrow. There's always going to be tomorrow. Don't procrastinate. Procrastination is the first sign of laziness. Procrastination is the first sign of laziness. Don't procrastinate. You see. Yes, indeed, Aki. May Yahuah help us in that. I procrastinate from time to time, but I do get it together. There come a point where I say, okay, now, this ain't going to get done if I don't really just make myself do it. We got to make ourselves do it. You see? But procrastination can become a very real and crippling habit where you never get anything done. And when you begin to procrastinate and it becomes a habit of procrastination, guess what comes in? You know what sets in next? The thought that I can't do it. I'll never be able to do it. I just can't do it. So after procrastination comes I can't. You see? After procrastination comes I can't. You know what defeats procrastination? I can. Yes, I can, and I will. I am. You see. But if you procrastinate, it gets to a point where your procrastination becomes I can't. And before you know it, now you are physically disabled, not in the sense that you're crippled, but you just don't feel as if you have the strength to get up and get it done. And you are mentally crippled, mentally disabled, because you feel as if it's too much. You're overwhelmed.
Remember that scripture, there's a lion in the street.
Yes, we're going to get to that one. We're going to get to that one here in the book of Mashaly, where it says the lazy man says, there's a lion in the street. His procrastination causes him to see stuff that ain't real. His procrastination causes him to see obstacles that aren't there. There's another text here in the book of Mashaly that likens the lazy man to the hinge of a door. The lazy man is on his bed is like the hinge of a door. It just keeps rolling back and forward, going nowhere. So there is no value in laziness. And procrastination is the first sign of laziness. So when we realize that we're procrastinating, cry out to Yahuah for some help. And then declare, you know what? I'm going to get it done. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make myself do it. And I can do it. And I will do it. By Yahuah's help and his strength, I will do it. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. I will. Yes, yes. Yes. Indeed. Indeed. Indeed, Akut. Akut Kela said there is a problem there too with finding jobs and getting past the background checks. Some people have taken to defrauding the government rather than search like everyone else. Indeed. There's a problem there too with finding jobs and getting past the background checks. We also have that as a problem as a people, because in some cases the system has set up our people to fail in that. You see, hit you with all kinds of misdemeanors, and then before you know it, it's a problem, even with getting a job. And then some people just won't put in the work to find a job. They just find it easier to go down there and lie to welfare.
Or get SSI.
Or get some kind of SSI, claim some kind of illness, or whatever the case might be. Some people get a job and just work enough to keep getting welfare. But welfare is crippling to our people. It was designed to destroy our people, not to help our people. It was designed to cripple our people. It was designed to make families dysfunctional.
Yeah, because back in the day, like, if you worked a little bit, you got a lot. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but I mean, if you lived in a project and your rent was only $60 a month, then it seemed like it paid because you could afford the subsidized electricity, your food was paid for,
yes,
your gas electric was paid for, your insurance, your health insurance was paid for. 9 times out of 10, you didn't have a copay. Your if you needed medicine, that was paid for. You know, if you needed a ride to the doctors, that was paid for. And even now, well, I mean, it's different now because they don't keep giving you more every child you have. They cut that off.
But you become a prisoner to the system, and guess what? You will never get anywhere. But some people think that to get an apartment through welfare and to get a check from welfare, that is like,
it ain't the same no more though. So
yeah, but even when you got more, it was still crippling to our people.
It was because I mean, how I got my first apartment at 17 years old. We were living in a project. My mom had a 3-bedroom apartment, and I had a baby, and then they just moved me into my own apartment. So, like, you know, if I had a kid, They would just keep doing the same thing over and over. You know, generations of us lived in the projects where everybody knew everybody.
Akut Kaya says, just another form of oppression. And that's what it is. Now, am I saying that there is not a place in society for help, where when people are in need, to help them like that? Yeah, there is a place. But this system in this society was invented to cripple our people. With the moment you go for welfare, you know the first thing they want to do? They want to break up the family. If there's a man in the house, guess what? You ain't getting no benefit. You got to get rid of the man. You see? Because we want to give you, the woman, a false sense of empowerment. So get rid of the man. And there goes the destruction of the family. Yes, Akeem M. Harrison talk about this, with more work getting welfare than going to find a job. Yes, indeed. They'll kill you with papers.
And then we'll give you $14 in food stamps. Mm-hmm. And why
you got to tell them your whole life story for them to give you something. Nah, keep that. You know what? If I got to work 3 jobs, then let me do that.
And that's where we got to be. And that's where it had to be with Yahuah sometimes. Sometimes we got to be in a place where the whip come cracking, and then we'll move. You know?
Yeah, I'm not Jamaican. How many jobs you got? Yeah, I got 3. I got 5.
We used to clown Jamaicans. You were talking about, yeah, man, we have 3 jobs. Jamaicans was getting that money.
See? Yeah, but it's crippling to our people. Now, indeed. And then, guess what? After that, they own you. They own your children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, begging for what's already yours. Because a lot of people might think that welfare is money falling from the sky. It ain't money falling from the sky. Your kids go. We say that schooling in America is free. It ain't free.
Nope.
If you're working, you look at your check, they're taxing you. You're paying for it all.
But you know what? Like somebody just said, they can't find jobs because of the backgrounds. Well, some people don't want to start from the bottom either. You can't find certain jobs. You know, I told my son, you got a criminal record, son? Guess what? Don't expect to go to the mall and get a job at Foot Locker now. It's a wrap for that. You got to go to the shipyard where there ain't no money involved. Okay? You got to go somewhere and you got to move up from the bottom. He's incarcerated now. You know what I told him? I said, listen, they gave you a job, you keep that job. And when you come out of there, you can tell them, you know what? Yes, I was incarcerated for XYZ, but the whole time I was there, I had a job, okay? And not only that, I got my GED while I was there. I stayed busy doing this and that. So my cousin's a CEO there. She told me what to do, okay? She told me what to tell him. She knows the inside. You stay busy. That way they'll say, okay, it looks like you want to be back in society. So when you get out there, okay, you might not get hired the first few times, but you got to come dressed ready for the part and willing to lay yourself on the table. Look, this happened to me, this, that, and the third. I was this age when this happened. I was under these pressures. And guess what? I've got myself straight by now. I haven't had, I've had to do this, that, and the third. But listen, you got to start somewhere. I'm sure somebody told you before you got that record not to go down that road. So you made your bed, now you got to lay in it, but that don't mean you stay there laying in it. And this is the information that we're trying to give our son now. You got to start from the bottom, son. You made that bed. You had parents tell you.
Now, so we have a responsibility as a people. We have a responsibility to try to reach our people, to teach our people, try to encourage them in this. Because we as a people here, people of Yahuah, when Yahuah awakened his people, even if we were dead in these things, if we were asleep in these things, Yahuah awakened us. He give us wisdom, and wisdom says this is what you must do. You see, and so the people of Yahuah walk in this wisdom, but we have a responsibility to hold our people accountable also. Those who aren't yet there. So when we speak up against the injustice of the system and the injustice of a nation, we also got to speak up about the folly of our people. Listen, it is a false thing. It is wrong to praise a man for what he's not. That's called, what's that called? When you're praising somebody and it is not what it is. I forget what it's called. You see, but it is wrong. You're lying. You see, and so we got to be honest with them. I'm honest with my kids. If they're acting lazy, it's flattery. That's right. It's flattery. If they're acting lazy, I tell them they're acting lazy. Acting foolish, I tell them they're acting foolish.
Right.
I ain't going to sit here and tell you
Tell me.
everything's, no, you're good. No, you ain't good. You're acting foolish. You're acting lazy.
That's right. Keith Franklin said, what about some brothers who become dependent on women to take care of them? And you know what? There are some brothers that have turned to that. You got some that just straight out trifling. But at the same time, some of them brothers have just been giving up. Because a lot of us women not really going to go for that. But then again, I could be just speaking for me, you know. But at some point, if the woman is working hard, she grows up and she matures, she's not going to settle for you just keep playing around. You got that can't feel good, because see, then what happens is the woman starts talking down to you. And they make belittling you, making you feel like you're
One second, let me find the mic that's open. Okay. Let me undo it again. Okay. Yeah, so and so the question was, what about the man who basically just rely on the woman to take care of him? You know, okay, so let me address this from both situations, from both sides. It's one thing when, if as a man you find yourself in a situation, here it is, you have a spouse, right? In some of these cases, some of these men living like this, it's not their wife, you know, they're just shacking up. But let's say you have a spouse and there was a time where, you know, you were working, but situations change, and so now you're unable to work for one reason or another, and your wife is the one working, and that's a part of marriage. Y'all complementing each other. Okay, one day one might be up, the next day and you're down, and so on, but you're working together still. So maybe I'm home and the wife is working, but so while I'm home, I'm taking care of the children and whatever. It's just the way society is today, right? But how about those men who specialize? They specialize in leeching of women. That man, Yahuah says he shouldn't eat. If he don't work, he shouldn't eat. He is a lazy man. He is the man that looks out his window and there ain't no lion out there, but he says there's a lion in the street. You see, there's a whole lot of our people who find all kinds of excuses for not doing anything. They're the ones that Yahuah talk about when he said there's a lion in the street. You see, they find all kinds of excuses for doing nothing. They have convinced themselves that it's impossible to get anything done, for them to do anything. They have convinced themselves of this. You see, We can't live that way. You know, when I was laid off for over 2 years. And you know what happened? When you're laid off, when you're not working, it's easy for you to fall into a ditch. You can easily fall into a trap. You can really become used to not working, to where if you got to get up and go look for a job, it can become difficult. But I'm going to share something with you that Yahuah used to keep me from falling into that ditch. During that time, there came a point where a certain commercial would come on the television all the time. And every time that commercial came on, it would speak to me. And it would scare me. You know what the commercial is? Commercial was advertising some kind of pill or something. And the commercial says, a body in motion stays in motion. But a body that's something is something. And I would listen to that commercial and I would think to myself, man, I got to get moving. A body in motion stays in motion, but a body that stops moving, it just don't move. You see, and it's a law of physics. A body in motion stays in motion. It's easy to move a thing that's already moving, but once it stops moving, it's very difficult to get it going again. That commercial really scared me. I was unemployed, and it was starting to feel difficult to go out there and look for a job, you see. But that commercial would become the drive for me to actually get up and go look for work. And that's what I did. That commercial. It's amazing the things that Yahuah will use to speak to us. It might seem as if to somebody else that it has nothing to do with anything, you see. But every time I heard that commercial, it was like Yahuah was talking to me, you see. A body in motion stays in motion. And I don't remember the other part to the commercial, but basically what it's saying is once you stop moving, things ain't good. So if you sit down and you just get lazy, you know, and you decide, I ain't gonna get up and do this. You got to make, if you stop moving, you got to make yourself move. You see, you got to make yourself move, because you know what? Another thing that we're going to read about laziness is that, and poverty, laziness leads to poverty. And the scripture says that poverty will creep upon you like an armed man. Poverty will creep upon you like an armed man. Wait, you know what? I saw a video on Facebook this morning. I think Akut Jones shared it. I was kind of going through and I saw the video. But the video is of two lions, I believe, or a lion and a lioness, and the lion is laying there between some trees. Microphone is open, family. Lion is laying microphone open somewhere here. The lion is laying between some trees. The lion is laying between some trees. And then there's this other lion creeping up on the lion that's laying between these trees. And the lion creeping up on him was very stealthy, creeping up on him. And he crept all the way up on that lion, laying relaxed between the trees, watching whoever it is that was videotaping. Crept all the way up on him and got right up on him. Well, that's what laziness and poverty will do to us. When we become so lazy, then poverty will creep upon us, and before you know it, the predator will be right on top of you. And when you don't see the predator coming, that's where you're destroyed. Because the best guarantee for success in battle is surprise. You see, stealth. And so poverty will creep upon you like an armed man, the scriptures tells us. And so it is important to take note when Yahuah speaks about laziness. So he said, go to the ant, you lazy one, see her ways and be wise, which having no commander, overseer, or ruler. So family, as a people, we got to understand that we shouldn't have to have somebody telling us what to do every step of the way or motivating us every step of the way. We want personal motivators. We want personal trainers. No. Yahuah said, look at the ant. You don't have no personal trainer. You don't have no motivational speaker. Yahuah didn't give you, what do motivational speakers do? They're not good at making you do anything other than coming out your pockets. You see, that's all motivational speakers do. You don't need a motivational speaker. Cry out to Yahuah for help and for strength and get up and get moving. You see. Oh, the flag is up? Okay. Give me a second. I didn't see that. Is the flag raised, family? Yep, just like Christian pastors. That's it. No, I don't. Oh, Aki Wandiyahu. Aki, is your flag raised, Aki?
Yes, if I may.
Yes, go ahead, Aki.
Yes, I had a question, Aki.
Yeah.
On laziness. For example, here where I live, we got a lot of what do you call it? Homeless people.
Uh-huh.
All right. So my question is, there are a lot of them that work and they can do better. So you try to help.
Yeah.
But there is a lot more that does not want to do anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, when I refuse or when I don't have enough money to give one of these lazy ones,
mm-hmm.
how Yahuah looks at this? I got 7 kids, so I work very hard for my money.
Yes.
To mind my family. But of course, I give anybody
yes.
who needs.
Yes.
But I see this sometimes like, hey, this guy does or this lady does not want to do anything
mm-hmm.
at all.
Mm-hmm.
How Yahuah look at this? If you got an answer on this, and thank you. That's my question.
Oh yeah, great question, Aki. And according to Torah, and I don't remember exactly where it's at, I believe it's in Bereshit chapter 9 or somewhere. But what Yahuah says is, if a man does not work, he does not eat. Okay? So that's the way Yahuah addressed that. It's one thing if you have somebody that's trying, but they're still having a difficult time making ends meet. It's one thing if somebody's trying. But I understand perfectly what you're saying, because I see it right where I'm at. You have people who don't want to do anything, who don't try to do anything, but they always have their hand out. Now, if you continue to give to them, you're not doing them a service. You're actually doing them a disservice. You're actually crippling them. You're actually making things worse for them, because when difficult times truly come, then they stand not a chance, you see. And so you don't have to feel bad about not giving to the one that has shown that they have no interest in doing anything to try to help their situation, you see. And the key, like you, how many kids we have, babe? 7 or 8? We have 8, so we're one above you. Yeah, we have so many. I got to ask my wife, but yeah, but I understand that key. And my wife and I was talking the other day. Children are truly costly. You see, children are truly costly. It's really expensive. When you have that many children, it's truly costly. And we don't realize it. We're not living in the kind of society that our people lived in, that Yasharal lived in. You see, where society was set up differently. Living in this society today and having that many children, It's really an expensive venture. It's not the way it was as living in the kind of society and economy as we see among our people in scripture. Things are very different. Yes, so Aki, what we would be doing is just becoming enablers, enabling them to continue to be lazy. And Yahuah says, Yahuah is against that. Yahuah truly is against that. He said it. He says, if a man don't work, then he should not eat, you see. And sometimes people got to get hungry. But you know what? The unfortunate thing is that some people, even when they get that hungry, where you would think they would get up and go try to do something, no, they turn to crime. They're so lazy that they would rather put their energy into robbing somebody than to go get a job. And that's how crippled they are in their minds, and wicked also, you see. So, yep, yes, indeed, Akut Kayla. Yes, indeed.
Remember we was going over the bridge one year, and this guy, he was a homeless guy. He had on a holy outfit. I tell you, he had on a bummy outfit. So on the way back from the store, we took the same route, and this guy had on a different bummy outfit.
Oh yeah.
We both looked at him sideways.
Oh yeah.
And he shrugged his shoulder. Hands up like a man's got to do what a man's got to do.
Yeah.
Get a job.
Yeah. This guy, yeah. What he was doing was he's standing there with a sign, but he would change his clothes, you know, for people not to realize he's the same individual, I guess. But it's amazing the lengths that people will go to, you know. Yes. Now. Akut Jones said, remind me of Woody Woodpecker when he was lazily playing all summer while his friends gathered for winter. When winter came, Woody starved because he didn't gather for winter. Absolutely. Here's
a question from Mashaly. My grandmother asks, how do we know you're Yasharal?
Okay, that was Akut Mahalia?
Yes.
Okay, how do we know if we're Yasharal? Well, okay, so you know what? In us, to tell genetically, it's not so easily anymore because we are so mixed up and so scattered. But a big part of it, a big part of knowing is the desire that comes into you. A desire to know your father, a desire to know your Abba. As a natural human being, if you don't know your parents, if you don't know your father, if you don't know your mother, as a natural human being, from a natural perspective, you're going to have this desire to know him. Not only to know him, but to be recognized with him and by him, to be embraced by him. You see, so you're going to have that natural desire. People who are of the other nations, they have natural desires too. And that is to know their father, to know their customs, to know their ways. And you see them drawn to that. And they go after those things. People of Yasharal have a desire. And Yahuah put it in us to know. Yahuah put it in us to know those who are his. And then the scriptures and history helps us to understand. That's not to say that every black person in America or every black person in the Caribbean or every black person in South America or every black person here or every black person there, every black person in Africa is Yasharal, because you're not. Everybody isn't. You see, we are not. Every black person is not Yasharal. But the people of Yasharal, the seed of Yasharal, will be drawn to Yahuah. Now, not all the seed of Yasharal will be drawn to Yahuah also, because there are people of Yasharal who will not respond to Yahuah, and you'll never know that they are Yasharal. Now, there are certain features you can use to tell Yasharal. For example, in America and even in Jamaica, you can tell the people that they call Negroes. We find evidence that the people that, you know, that not every black person is referred to as Negro, right? There's only a certain set of black people referred to as Negro. As a matter of fact, Billy Graham in his dictionary points that out. He makes a distinction between Ham, the children of Ham, which were black people, and the Negroes. He said that Ham is not the Negroes. Now, who they call Negroes, we tend to have a similarity. Just like when you look at nations in Africa, you could tell the difference between people. You could tell the difference between a Somalian and somebody from Kenya, and so on and so forth. You know, the people of Yasharal, who based on what has been recorded would be what they call Negroes today, tend to have a likeness to one another. Okay? Children of Ham looks different from children of Sham, or of Put, or of what's the one, Cush. You see, they look different, you know. So we bear similarities physically, and that similarity in many cases have been watered down because of mixing and rape and everything through slavery. But the scriptures and history is the greatest identifier of the people of Yahuah. And then Yahuah put in us a desire to seek him. And that's one of the keys. A desire that you can't explain. You just know that you got to find your daddy. You see? You just put it in you to know that you need to find your daddy. This man that tell me is my dad ain't it. I got to find my dad. You see? Yahuah put that in his people to know. That's a part of the awakening.
I think it's more so the calling too, because
I
was reading earlier how when they came out of Mizraim, a mixed multitude came out. So there was a mixing already, you know. So how do we know if the Egyptians look somewhat different than, you know, Yasharab, then there was a problem when it came out.
Yeah, so my wife pointed out the calling, because Yahuah, he puts in you, again, that desire, that call. It's a part of the awakening, you see. So history shows us, you know, and you're welcome, Dakut. And Yahuah working in us cause us to know. He put that desire in us to know him, you see. Let me read one scripture real quick. I'm gonna stop on laziness today. I want that to sink in for all of us. We all might need a little help in that, right? We all could be a little bit more productive, right? I could be more productive. So I think from the book of Mashaly, from Proverbs today, we're going to stop on laziness. We're going to stop on laziness today. Let that sink in for this week. Okay? Let us examine ourselves. Can we be more productive? Can we be more efficient? You know, how can we do better as a people? How can we encourage our people more to be more resourceful? You know, to encourage ourselves more to be more resourceful. Laziness. Let's think about laziness for this week. Let's ponder it and let's do something about it. Okay, so that we can be more beneficial to our people, to our family, to our nation. You see. Yes. And that's a big one, managing time. And managing time, it's about disciplining ourselves, you know. It's really about discipline. And so ask Yahuah for discipline. You know, at work, when I go to work, I have certain things that I have to get done. And if I don't discipline myself, it ain't going to get done. And it ain't going to get done in the time that it has to get done. So discipline is important when it comes to time management, you know. And in whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish, Yahuah tell us that, I've heard this said, now a scientific study have shown that when you write something down, you are 5 times more likely to get it done That has been proven from a study of people. When you write something down, they say you're 5 times more likely to get it done. Well, guess what? Yahuah tells us the same thing. He says, write the vision and make it plain, so that those who read it may take it and run with it. So when you have a goal, when you have a plan, you need to write it down. Not only do you need to write it down, you need to speak it out. Okay? Tell yourself what your goal is and that you're going to get it accomplished. And we know that we can only do it through Yahuah and his will, you see. But write it and declare it, you see. You know, it's interesting. If it's something that you really want to accomplish, when you write it, even if you don't know where you left it, you ain't going to forget that you wrote it. But writing things, this is the thing, this is the power about writing it. When you write something down, it actually helps you to remember it. So even if you don't find the paper that you wrote it on, even if you don't find the book that you wrote it on, the very fact that you took the time to write it down, it actually imprints it on your consciousness. It imprints it on your mind, you see? So the very fact that you wrote it actually helped it to stand out in the forefront of your mind. You know, it's interesting. I have set goals and give myself certain timeline, and time will pass, and you know, within the timeline, I'll be reminded that I did set this goal, I made this declaration, and I'm reminded and find myself within that timeline walking in that plan, you see. So it is important. Write it down, you see. Yep. Write the vision and make it plain, you see. Write a plain vision, you see. And so it is important. So, but what I'm saying is, if it is that important, you're not going to forget it. So it's a matter of prioritizing also, you see. If there's something that you need to accomplish, you got to be able to prioritize. In other words, you got to examine these things that you're trying to accomplish. And you got to set a list of priority. Okay, how important is this to me and to what I'm trying to accomplish? And when you recognize, when you realize the importance of it, it will stand out more for you. And you know what? Even subconsciously and with the help of Yahuah, you will be working toward that goal, not realizing it. And then the day will come when Yahuah will bring it back to the forefront of your mind. Yep. And set realistic goals. Set realistic goals, not unrealistic goals, stuff that you just ain't going to be able to accomplish. You see? Set achievable goals. Don't try to eat the whole cake in one sitting. You see, cut it up in slices, and you determine, okay, when I sit down this time, I'm going to eat a slice, and the next time I'll eat another slice, and take it in slices, not big old chunks. You'll choke on it. They might not be able to resuscitate you when it's stuck in your throat. So you set realistic goals, you know. So yeah, we want to reflect on that. But there's something else that I want to read for Akut Mahalya's mom on the question of how do we know if we are Yasharal. And there is this other thing that I want to say too. Our people, this is how we know we are Yasharal. Now, you have two sets of people in the world. You have, when it comes in that two sets of people in the world who over the years have strived to hold some kind of association with the Creator and the history of the chosen people of the Creator. For one set of those people, it comes naturally. For another set of people, it was a deliberate action. So what they did deliberately was they started a tradition of giving their people, their children, the names, and not even the real names, but the crafted names, the invented names, the corrupted names of people from the scriptures. Okay? They started this tradition of giving their children the corrupted names, the names that they have corrupted of peoples from the scriptures. So there are two sets of people in the world. One does this naturally, the other set of people does it willfully. They started it as a willful act, and it continues. Now, black people, they ain't think about it much when they name their children Moses, and they name their children David, and they name their children Jeremiah, and they name their children and they name their children Benjamin, and they name their children whichever name from the scriptures you can think of. When they name their children Deborah and all of these names, they didn't think much about it. They were just following in the vein of who they are. And Joshua, they didn't think about it. When they did this, it just came naturally to them. Did I lose YouTube, family? It just came naturally to them. They didn't think about it. They didn't have to think about it. It just came naturally to them. Okay? But other people, they had to make a conscious decision to do that. And so, but our people have always named our children that way. You know, I had to write a list of the names of my kids to give them at the job the other day, because they're paying for us to go to Hershey to go to a theme park, right? They're paying for us to go, so I had to give them a list of the names of the children. And as I began to write down their names, I'm like, man, I think I just about took every name from the scriptures. And when I gave them the names, I'm sure they thought the same thing. You know. But it's a natural desire for us to name our children that way, and our people have always done it. Our people have always done it. Search through history, search through slavery. Our people have always done it, you see. Now, why is it that they do this? Well, here it is. Yashayahu. Yep. Now, the names, we named them using those names because we didn't know any better. You see, because they have been corrupted. We didn't know no better, but yet the intent was to give them the names of our people, Yahusha and Yahuah, right? It's in us naturally to want to do that. Yashayahu, Isaiah chapter 45. Or is it chapter 44? Yashayahu, Isaiah, chapter 44. 45?
I don't know. That's
Oh, no, it's chapter 44. Chapter 44. Now listen to this. But now hear, O Yahuah, my servant. But now hear, O Yahuah, my servant, and Yasharal, whom I have chosen. This says Yahuah, who made you and formed you from the womb, who helps you. Do not fear, O Yahuah, my servant, and Yashurun, whom I have chosen. For I pour water on the thirsty and floods on the dry ground. I pour my spirit on your seed. I pour my ruach on your seed, and my baraka on your offspring. And they shall spring up among the grass like willows by streams of water. One says, I belong to Yahuah. Another calls himself by the name of Yahuah. That's James. That's what they changed to James. Another writes with his hand onto Yahuah and names himself by the name of Yasharal. Thus says Yahuah, sovereign of Yasharal and his redeemer, Yahuah of hosts, I am the first and I am the last. Besides me, there is no Elohim. The point is that he said that his people would take on his name and the name of their ancestors and the name of their land. And we have always done that. And even in the awakening, it becomes more real, because now we're not just doing it subconsciously, but we are doing it very, very consciously, because Yahuah has put it in us to know what we're doing. And that's why we have that desire to be named by his name, you see. But our people historically have always done it. What is my name? My name is and has always been Mikael, Michael. In English, the corrupted form is Michael. Mikael or Michael, Mykaal. Many of our people, a whole host of our people, are named after people in the scriptures, you see, because it's in us naturally to do. And so those are just some of the ways that we know who we are. Yahuah has preserved himself and is preserved himself in his people. Hopefully, it is my hope that that little bit helps, but Yahuah causes us to know. All right. Well, family, I've kept you long. I'm not going to keep you any longer. I want to say Toda Rabbah for your great patience as always. And we're going to stop here for this Shabbat, and we hope to pick up our study. Okay. Yes. Great question. Should we be changing our names? All right. So you see there, Akut, that text that I just read from Yeshayahu, chapter 44. I'm going to read that verse again. So Yahuah would put in us that desire to be named after him, or to be named after our ancestors or after the land. Remember what it says in Chronicles? If my people who are called by my name, right? If my people who have my name in them, on them, would humble themselves and pray. It has always been that way. The people of Yasharal have always borne the name of Yahuah, no matter who they are. If it's Adial, if it's Daniel, if it's Yaramyahu, if it's Yashayahu, if it's Al-Yahu, if it's Nachamyahu, the people of Yasharal have always borne the name of the Creator. And so it is he who puts in us a desire to be called by his name. It doesn't happen at the same time for everybody. Because when we have been misnamed in our captivity, it doesn't come at the same time for everybody. So right now you might be fine with the name that you have. But there is going to come a time when you will have this desire to want to be known by the name of Yahuah. You will want to bear the name of Yahuah. They might not have the desire right now, but that desire will come over time, because Yahuah said it would be so. And that's what Yeshayahu chapter 44 verse 5 is about. So I need to change Carmen to something else ending in Al. I wouldn't say that you need to akut, as in to say that you must. I would say that Yahuah will guide you in time, and he will put that desire in you, and he will even give you a name in time. You know, I believe he will lead you to a name, because a name is not just something that we take on. A name speaks of character. A name is a key identifier, not like as in English, but it speaks of who we are. That's the purpose of a name. Our name is our fame. You see, our name tells about us. You see, and what Yahuwah's will is for our lives. And so I believe that in time Yahuah will give you a name. And Al, it could be something with Yahu, or it could be something with Al, you know. But that's in time Yahuah will, I believe Yahuah will guide you to that. Oh, no problem, Akut. No problem. The questions are fine. How do we find that name? You know, as you continue to study and read from the scriptures, the day might come when you come across a name and Yahuah just calls you to know that this is who I am. You know, it's just like that. Or it may be that you have read something and there's a name that you have read and come across and I might have spoken many times, but it never dawned on you. And then a day come and that name just come into your ruach, where Yahuah says, this is your name. You see, you know, family. So is a name important, and is renaming important? Let me get a little bit deeper on the question. Is a name important, and is renaming important? Yes, it is. That's why Yahuah changed Husha's name. That's who they called Joshua. Before his name was changed, his name was Husha, Husha, which means deliverer or to save. And Yahuah changed his name to Yahusha. It is Yahu who delivers. It is Yahu who saves. He changed Abaram name to Abarham, right? He changed Sarai name to Shariah, I forget, but he changed her name. He changed Shaul's name. He changed Yahuah. You'll notice he changed the name of people to reflect their purpose, their character, you see. And also the sons of Yasharal were named in light of their character, the patriarchs of Yasharal. So yes, but in time Yahuah will cause you to know for sure. And when it comes, it might surprise you, because it might not be that you're even thinking about it at that time, and yet Yahuah put it in you to know. Okay, yes, yep, favored. That's right, favored of Yahuah. That's Yakanun. So yes, actually Yakana, it might be Yakanun, favored of Yahuah. Canaan speaks. It's I know it's the what you call how you would call it, male. There's a masculine noun, Canaan. Kanun. I'm not sure if it. I've never seen Kanun, but maybe that's what. Maybe Kanun is the feminine noun. Hmm. Actually, so Yamira, Yahun, it wouldn't be, and I mean no offense in saying this, but it wouldn't be God, because Yah or Yahu does not mean God, does not refer to God. God is actually the title of a pagan deity. Even though you see it in the Bible over 4,000 times, it doesn't belong there. It's not found in the scriptures. The only time it's found in the scriptures is in reference to a pagan deity, the deity of fortune. Now I have an article on the website about that, and so what I'll do is I'll just put the link here and you can read that. So your name, it wouldn't speak of, God in any way. That's actually pagan. That's what they have given to us, but it's not what Yahuah has given to us. That's what they have done. So I'm going to post that article for you. I encourage you to read it. I'm just going to put it on the screen. It's Yahuah Yahusha set apart Haykal.com, but I'm going to find the article and I'm going to put it in the room. The title of the article is "Who is God?" I'm going to put that here for anybody who might want to read it. Okay. I'll put it in the room. All right, bear with me here. Control. Oh man, it won't allow me to paste it. Come on. Here we go. I hope I might have to try that again. That first article might not, that first link might not work. So there you go. Okay, so that's the link to the article. I encourage you to read it and don't just take it at face value. Do your own research. It's enough information there to prompt you to search. So yeah, so when your name have Yah in it, Yahu, it's actually not a reference to God. That's what they tell us, but it's not. All right, I'm just trying to see. Okay. All right. Okay, family. So I want to say Tuda. Praise Yahuah. Oh, they did Akut Joan. Akut Joan said Fuse disabled her account. And I think they tried to do that to Akut Al Yashaba before. You might have to re-download and delete it from your computer, re-download and just change your, I don't know why they did that, but delete it from your computer and change your, I don't know. Yeah, maybe just delete it and re-download and see what happens. I don't know why they did do that. Sorry to hear that, Akut. All right. Okay, so oh, that's from Fuse. Wow. Akut Al Yashaba said they put vulgar stuff on her page, naked women and stuff like that. Oh, on Facebook. Well, Akut, I think maybe somebody might have hacked your account. I'm not sure if that's Fuse on Facebook. If that shows up on Facebook, somebody might have hacked your account. That's strange for that. Fuse isn't that kind of platform. That the way the program works, they don't like. It's not like Pal Talk where they actually download stuff. They'll put stuff on your computer. Fuse, well, from what I see, they usually just, the only thing gets downloaded is the app. Yeah. It seemed somebody might have hacked your account there on Facebook or something. They'll do, if they hack your account, they'll do that. Yeah, somebody must have hacked your account. Yeah, Akut Jones said change your password, Akut Al Yashaba. and make it stronger. Use a bunch of letters. As a matter of fact, you should make it like a sentence or a phrase. You know, not a whole sentence, but like a phrase, and include some special characters. Okay, praise Yahuah. And they hacked my email and just totally took it over. Changed the security question and everything, and just made their own password for it, as if, you know, this is going to be my account. So what they did, they just took it over. Whoever it was, you know, totally took over my email account. And blocked me out of it. You know, if they didn't have a way to, if that happens, they have a way to override it. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have no access to my email account. Yeah, I had to get in touch with my provider, and they overrode it. You do it all online. They ask you a bunch of questions, like if your account was hacked. It's one thing, it's different, it's a different reset than if you forgot your password. This is if it's hacked, they have another way of resetting it, overriding whatever the hacker did. And so that's how I was able to get it fixed and get back in it. Yes. Oh yes. So she did. She changed it, and she made a stronger password. Oh, Akut. Who was it? Let me see. So whoever hacked your account sent out messages using your account, Akut. So they definitely hacked your account. Tada. So Aki Yaram Yahu's surgery date is August 23rd at 7 a.m. That's Akut Yaram Yahu's surgery date. And Akut Yariya's surgery date is September 9th. Right, Akut? We want to keep them in our prayers, and if you can fast on their behalf, I encourage you to do so. Praise Yahuah. Akut Yolanda, he's currently, or they anticipate that they will have to do that after the surgery? Okay. Yes, that is our prayer. That is our prayer, that Yahuah would bring him through, and they don't have to keep him on any artificial support for no extended period of time. That is our prayer. Halahu Yahuah. And so, family, please, I want to ask you to pray. Please pray for our Aki Yaram Yahu, great man of Yahuah, humble servant of Yahuah. Just going through a difficult battle right now. But we love our Aki. We want him to know that we're standing with you. And just want your family just to keep him lifted, keep him before Yahuah. And when he goes through the surgery on August 23rd, they'll have to put him on life support. But the request is that Yahuah would work in such a way that he would not have to be on life support for any lengthy period, any extended abnormal period of time. Okay, yes, indeed, Yahuah certainly is able. And so we're going to keep our Aki lifted before Yahuah. And please remember also Akut Yariyah. Yahuah brought her through one surgery already this year, and we praise Yahuah for that. But she has another one that has to be done. And we want to keep our Akut in prayer also, and she goes for surgery on September 9th. So Aki Yaramyahu goes on August 23rd. Akut Yaraya goes on September 9th. We want to keep them in our prayers. Okay, and so may Yahuwah Barak and strengthen and heal them both. Indeed, Yahuwah Rapha, our healer. It is to him that we look. It is to him that we cry. Halahu Yahuwah. All right. Well, family, we're gonna prepare to close out. If there are no other comments or requests, praise Yahuwah. Yes, indeed. May Yahuwah our Rapha heal and deliver. Praise Yahuwah. Yes, indeed, He does. Yes, indeed, He does. Yes, indeed, He does. Question on YouTube. Okay. How do we find? Oh no, I already responded to that. Praise Yahuwah, Kud Carmen. Praise Yahuwah. Praise Father. Certainly enjoy the fellowship with you and Keith and the rest of the family. I think I missed a question on you from YouTube. Oh, are legal documents changed? Great. Legal documents changed. Oh, as far as my account being breached, was that the question, Akut Carmen? Oh, as far as the name, Well, if you can afford to, certainly, if you can afford to, then certainly, it is an expense to have that change made. That's why many people haven't gone to that extent. But if you can afford to, certainly, our children, they were named from the time we had the opportunity to put it on their birth certificate. So we don't have to worry about that. For myself, it would be about $200 or so to make that change. And it's one thing. That's a way to to make them recognize who we are. That's a way to make them recognize who we are. But it's not simply because. So what I'm saying is, simply because it might not be on their so-called legal document, it don't change who you are. You see what I'm saying? Now, when if you don't change it in their system, then you can't use it for business and legal purposes under the system. It's not recognized unless it's changed on your birth certificate, you see. But simply because it's not on your birth certificate, it doesn't change who you are in Yahuwah at the same time, you see. Because they don't have to affirm you for you to be who you are in Yahuwah, yeah. You see. You're welcome, Daku. Yes. Yeah, so that's the way they would refer to you. It becomes an AKA reference. They'll say also known as. See. All right. Well, family, once again, it's been a baraka. We're going to close out. I've held you long. I'm not going to hold you any longer. Okay, so let's prepare to close out. Halahu Yahuwah. Right. Praise Yahuah. Praise Yahuah. Hallelujah. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, Aki. Yes, indeed. Yes, yes. I understand, Akut Joan. I understand. And again, too, the fact is that it is not really changed. It just becomes an AKA, also known as. It's not truly changed. It's like a secondary name. So, you know. All right. All right. Oh, the question was Tariq. Wait, Tariq Nasheed. Well, it's not. It's not. It's not pure Abari. Tariq is not. It wouldn't be Abari. Actually, Tariq. The name Tariq Nasheed sounds like a name of Ashma'al. It would be Arabic, right? It would be Arabic, not Abari. It would be a name of Ashma'al. All right. Let's see now. Okay, so we're gonna close out. Praise Yahuwah. Hallelujah. Father, we thank and praise you for this Shabbat, for this fellowship. We thank you for bringing us together, for keeping us together. We thank and praise you for your word that is living, active, powerful, life-changing, wisdom-giving. Hallelujah. A sustainer, a healer, and a restorer. And so, Yahuwah, we give you praise. We ask that you would be with us through this week, even as you have kept us through the last and through the Shabbat. Pray that your barakah would be upon your people continually. And Abba Yahuwah, even as we prepare to disassemble from this place, I pray that you would be with us all and keep us, strengthen us. I pray, Yahuwah. We lift up our Aki Yaram Yahu to you, Father, and the Kut Yariyah as they prepare to go for surgery. Abba Yahuwah, Rapha, we pray that you would touch them and that you would heal and deliver. We pray that you would restore. Father, even concerning Aki Yaram Yahu as he goes in for surgery, I pray, Yahuwah, that you would bring him out early and successfully. We pray, Yahuwah, that he would not be on any apparatus, life support apparatus for any extended period of time, but that your favor would be upon your servant and that deliverance would come to him, Yahuwah. We pray, Yahu Rapha, that you would heal, that you would touch, that you would deliver. Do this, we pray. You are our only help, and so we look to you. We ask that you would guide the hand of the surgeons. Hallelujah. Because, Father, our hope is not in man. Some trust in horses, some trust in chariots. But we will hope in you, Yahuwah. We pray the same for our Kut Yariyah. She is entering into a very tedious surgery. And so we pray that you would guide the hand of the doctor. We pray, Yahuwah, that you would watch over your daughter and over your son, and that you would keep them safe and sound and renewed and whole. Bring them out of it whole, Father. In Yahusha's name we pray. Pray that you would strengthen each and every one, all of their loved ones, including the family here in the room. Pray over Akut Yolanda that you would strengthen her as she is there for her Ayash. And so Yahuah, and even Akut Vernice, his sister, and for all of us here, Yahuah, help us, Father, to keep them present in our mind as we go through our day, that we would cry out to them. Strengthen us as we seek your face through fasting and in prayer for them. We pray, Yahuah, that you would barak and you would hear and that you would heal and that you would restore. Do this, we pray, in Yahusha's name. Amen. Halalhu Yahuah. Praise Yahuah. Well, family, we love and appreciate you all. And to you I say, may Yahuah barak you and keep you. May Yahuah cause his face to shine upon you and show favor unto you. May Yahuah lift up his face upon you and give you his shalom, his wholeness, his completeness, his protection, his preservation. May the name of Yahuah be upon you. Hallelujah. Love and appreciate you all, family. And Leila Tub, may Yahuah be with you all until we assemble together once again. Oh yes, tomorrow evening, yes, tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Eastern, in Foundational Facts Fellowship. Let me see if I can put that information on the screen. I think Aki Franklin might have posted it. Foundational Facts. Oh no, he didn't. He usually, okay, there you go. Foundational Facts Fellowship, 288-09-658 is the room number, and the telephone number is the same as you would call for this room, but then I think you got to enter the room number too, right? That's the way it works. 288-09-658. That's the room number. I think the telephone number is the same, and when you dial the telephone number, you enter the room number. I think that's the way it works. All right. Love and appreciate you all, family. And Yahuah willing, I'll see you tomorrow evening, those of you who can join us. Shalom. Much ahab, family. Leila Tub and shalom. Let me close out YouTube.